Government by end of last year introduced new VAT rates that's 17.5% on some services in the economy. Now the financial services happen to be part, and we understand that 17.5% is going to be charged on the transactions in banks and what have you. We want to know what exactly are the modalities for this particular VAT introduced to the particular sector of the financial services, and really has it started as it is causing some panic in the system. People do not know if really banks are charging the 17.5% VAT rate on their services or not. We have here with us Dr. Edward Labisian to be doing the discussion. He would help us understand what this whole thing is about, and if really would have financial services charge 17.5% VAT rate on every transaction we conduct in the banks or financial institutions. Thank you very much for joining us live on Business Live, sir.
You are welcome.
Now, I would want to know, first and foremost, would we have this new VAT rate charge on transactions in the bank? Is this something that we would have in place?
Okay, let me be clear on which financial services are to be subjected to the VAT. Let me be on record that the normal financial services, that you open an account, they keep your account, the transfer, receipt, or dealing with money, whether in domestic or foreign currency, or provision of money and credit, are not going to be affected. In fact, the last time we met the banks, they were of the view that it's going to affect their 3 million customers. No. What is going to be affected are the non-core financial services. And these non-core financial services already, when you are outside the banks and consultants are doing them, they also pay the VAT. So this is just leveling the playing field. And what we have are those non-core are legal and accounting advisories, safe custody of cash and documents, data processing, payroll or debt collection, and those who offer management services with respect to investment and license relating to property. So these are very selected areas that we are aiming at. And so the banks should rest assured that we are going to this new area, but on only their non-core financial services.
Is that to say that clients of the banks would not feel this particular tax that you're going to be charging them?
Invariably, majority will not. You see, if there is a bank offering legal services, like an ordinary lawyer in his chambers, that is non-core bank. And many people wouldn't go to a bank normally. They go to the bank to save. So majority of people who bank are not going to be affected. And let me also say, we have set up a committee. When this wrong interpretation started, we have met with the bank and we are agreeing on the non-core that will be affected. So it is, we arrive at a compromise position. And so we are not being dictatorial or capricious. So the banks should go through the consultation and we'll arrive at an agreed number of services to be affected by VAT.
Now the argument out there, or what is sort of causing fear and panic amongst Ghanaians, is that we do a lot of withdrawals and depositing. Would we have this particular VAT rate affect those as well? Let us understand and clear the air on that.
If you put money in the bank, you put the deposit there. Normally, the bank will take the money and go through their normal operations. You know, those are not going to be affected. But suppose you have a saving box. You have put your money in the box and locked it, and you put in the bank for safe deposit. Not many of us do that, but some people think they don't even want the bank to know how much they have, so they put this under key, and the bank give them a service of safekeeping. That is one of them. Suppose you have your legal documents, you don't want them to be misplaced. You can also put them in a box and go and save it at the bank in a vault. And then you have the key. Anytime you want to go, you can go. Those are the services we are aiming at, not your monthly pay, your daily withdrawal, or your weekly. No. Yeah.
Okay, so how will that work? Are we going to see a 17.5% charge on these services?
Well, this is something that we do have to educate. The final tax is 17.5, but at various stages. The banks, in doing those services, may buy inputs for which they will pay the 17.5. So if they are giving you the service, they will charge the 17.5, but credit themselves with the previous one. For an argument's sake, let's hope it's 100 cities, then the 17.5% is 17.5 cities. Then they add their professional. So when they charge you that extra 3.5, whatever it is, with the total, so it's 17.5 plus 3.5, they'll credit themselves with the 17.5 because they would have paid that to revenue already and charge you only 3.5 for which they will remit. So even though the final one is 17.5, there's a crediting system. So the full impact is never 17.5 at the end. It is stages. And once you credit yourself, there's a self-deduction.
So how are discussions going? I know that for the other services, the VAT rate took effect on January 8th. When is this one coming to play? Has it already started? Let us understand if it's ongoing or is it yet to?
No, for the banking sector, it is very important to the economy. So if there's any confusion, we have to halt and remove that confusion. So it's a temporary break in its implementation, and we are meeting to clear which areas, and immediately we'll get the areas that we have to tax. It will be implemented, but we don't have too much time. It will be done maybe at the end of March.
At the end of March?
Yeah. Yes.
Because we had April, we had some dates come out April. You are very sure about March?
At the end of March, 1st April is after March. So
I think we would have finished coming out with all the modalities and
yes,
all the services.
Yeah. So April is the beginning of another quarter. So one looks to 1st April. But if there's any problem, that's a different thing. But we must have a target.
But the 1st of March, what has particularly called for this VAT, especially on financial services?
You must acknowledge that our tax base is very narrow, and government has no money. It can go and borrow today, but tomorrow it has to collect taxes to go and pay. Government needs money to run law and order, to run the court system, to build roads, schools, hospitals, you know. And since I've said it has no money other than taxpayer. And also remember, for every positive move, there's a counter. Ghana is now a lower middle income country. Obviously, that status has some positive effect. The negative, to me, it is not that negative, means that concessionary loans are no more available to Ghana, and grants and aids have been cut. So we have to mobilize our own revenue, and that is why we have to look to the taxpayer. And when I say the taxpayer, every Ghanaian who is eligible to pay his or her fair share. Any other way will bring its own problems. We are talking about a deficit in government finances. If we don't collect, government goes to borrow. It's a threat to inflation, and inflation taxes everybody. We have to think about a wider area where we should collect the taxes.
Now, in widening the tax net, we understand that out of 6 million eligible taxpayers, only 2 million are paying taxes, and already we are about 25 million Ghanaians, and it seems a bit unfair. There's no justice in our tax collection system. How is government, apart from these services that you have introduced VAT on, how is government widening the tax net? What are you looking at really?
Okay, the 2 million that are paying are direct taxes, that is on your income. And if you take the most conservative estimate, that 6 million must be paying, then we are not doing well.
That's all.
So we are directing our effort towards education, which is being done even in the advanced countries, the US, you know, Canada, Australia, African countries, Uganda, Kenya. You see, they are teaching people when they start primary, JSS, SS, so that they know their obligation. And that is number one. Number two, because I've said only 2 million are paying, the alternative, because everybody consumes, right? So it looks as if one alternative, which we are pursuing now, is the indirect tax, VAT and excise, and sometimes through import duties. And we are continuing in this way until the programs that we are turning out, there is a full computerization system, that is e-government, a World Bank project, that is going to register all taxpayers, both individuals and companies. They will start first with the Register General. Once you go to the Register General, you come and get your unique identification number from GRA, and then everybody will be within the ambit of taxation. Then we can move towards filing of returns every year. Every taxpayer, you file your returns, we do the appropriate thing. If there are refunds, we'll do the refund for you. And that is the way to go. This VAT, you might have heard about VAT to on real estates, right? That is not aimed at those who are building the houses. It's aimed at those who will come and